learning or get to know, and it's for entertainment purposes only. If you learn something, well and good. If you don't, that's on you. Um, now, uh, of lately, it's going haywire, crazy all over the world. Depending on which part of the world you are in. Some are considering war, others are just considering just living by day to day and surviving. And others are just waking up with different outcomes that they would not have perceived beforehand. And yeah, that's the world we are living in today. So for me, today I'm talking about guilt. Guilt comes in many ways, and mostly in family dynamics. Sometimes it's used as a manipulative tactic so that you can fall in line or do as you're told. And then as a society, it's either uh, it's given to you to keep quiet, shut up, and accept the reality as it is, which begs to wonder, uh, where is our guilt, our conscious lies, our humanity lies today, because some things that happen in you uh, would not have imagined growing up that this is the reality you'll be living in today. So, higher. I'll give an example. In family dynamics, I've had a lot of stories through Reddit, TikTok, Reddit, what's is Facebook and YouTube, stories being told. And wow, some are way out of line, and you'll find like dynamics in families in case of siblings. High possibility you hear of the favored one, and then the ones who are supposed to accept the favored one and their crazy tactics. So until, well, either your conscience is has had enough, or you personally you just say I'm done, and you stop at that, or you cut off contacts, or you put boundaries. Sometimes it works, sometimes you hear of extremities, people, even family, taking each other to court. Here in Kenya, I might say, we have heard of, yeah, family taking each other to court, mostly after inheritance squabbles, after issues coming up about what family, or who's supposed to get what in the family. Welcome, Hassan. Hi. So in that aspect, you'll find beforehand issues, or you'll find, uh, here in Kenya, it's always funny during burial. It's not a funny time, but most of the time you'll find new families popping up. Hi, Rohit Singh. And you find fathers or men having other, there's the main family that is known by community and all that, and then there's a family that pops up out of nowhere. Hi, Kitty Love, welcome. I'm from Kenya. Hassan. Hi, Hunter, welcome. So it usually, during wedding times, there's always that suspense of, will, if there was a legal wife, or a wife who was married traditionally somewhere and kept in secret, or didn't even know there's a wedding, or gets to know a wedding comes up, and then uh, the time of the pastor or the preacher or whoever is conducting the rites of wedding, saying, whoever has an objection, it's always uh, entertaining, yet sad, and also funny, mostly funny occasions. We have seen such. Have I seen that in our family? No. My family, from my mom's side, it was a polygamous family, and we all knew the different families, grew up together, celebrated, had functions together. During wedding days, it's like a reunion of the three houses. And my dad's family, they were okay. That hmm, that one we have no idea. I'll just leave it at that, because too many secrets, too many unknowns. So I've seen during our Kenyan news, you see such events happening. During a wedding, another wife comes out, and you cannot have two church weddings. That's illegal. That's also called bigamy. But also, it's illegal to marry in the church twice, not unless one of you is deceased, departed, or divorced, like officially. And in traditional ways, it's acceptable. You have the Islam community religion that accepts four or more, according to how much um, you can support your family. If you can support every wife, well and good, it's acceptable. But now on the Christian side, that's where in line it's only one wedded, church wedded wife. Then we have the issue of burials, because men sometimes have secret families, and during the mourning period before burials, that's when you find other families popping up, or children popping up, or even instances, con people who want to have a piece of the inheritance popping up and proclaiming they are part of that family, unless the family wants to go into finding out if um, they're authentically members of the family or not. So that aside, I'm talking about the dynamic between family members of siblings. We all know sometimes, not all families, but sometimes sibling rivalry happens. Uh, and sometimes we even hear of, or we have seen some siblings being favored more than others by our parents. And it does bring out a lot of, I'll say, animosity, and also envy, and a lot of competition. Uh, then you'll have some parents use guilt trip to um, either gain sympathy or gain favor from the children. And sometimes I use it like, okay, the guilt tripping, it's sometimes excessive. If you find the relationship between parent and child is crazy, Francis, welcome. Hi. You might find like smothering, mothers who smother their children even when they're grown up, and they want their children to fall in line. Here in Kenya, it's summer, it's super hot, even at night. So you'll find the parent, maybe trying to convince a child in terms of relations they want them to have, like the marriage they, or specific people to marry, or let me be blank, specific tribe not to marry or to marry. And you'll find them using stereotypical excuses, or even when push comes to shove, pretending it will hurt them so much they will die. But now we forget. Okay, some parents forget. In case of anything, Either the parent becomes dearly departed, or the child becomes dearly departed. Life still moves on. And you might survive or you might not survive, depending with your relationship status, if you're too much close or bonded. Um, and other than that, parents also forget, like the ones who are too involved in their children's adult children's lives, they forget that they need to stand on their own and learn from their mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. It's a learning process, and it's the only education that never ends. Even continuation, maybe even after death, you learn something after you've died. Anyway, that aside, then we have the guilt that is given to citizens by political leaders. If you don't vote for me, you'll regret. Nah, nah, nah. And it's a tactic, yes, for winning voters in, but it's also a questionable red flag if you cannot come to us and say, like, outright. I say, and I joke around with people saying, if only people who are vying for seats, for political seats, they will give us a portfolio of their failures and what they achieved in whatever line of work they have done. It might be the easiest way to know who's more suitable for such seats and vet out the ones who are just having sweet talks to try to win people over. Even if it's the first time working, I think you have a portfolio of even references. Remember the CV writing, you had to write CVs, and we were warned not to write people who are closely related to us, or people who are just family friends. You need to look for people who know you as a working person, which makes sense. Even if you just came out of school, at your school level, you know how you interacted or how you did. If you have projects, I believe nearly all courses have projects. Even if it's low, you can have a mock case and how you tackled that mock case and all that. So the guilt, I sometimes it's not warranted for us to feel guilty of not choosing the right people to sit on such seats, and also keeping quiet with our guilt and not doing anything about it, because we all forget we are their employers, not the other way around. Again, I say, during campaigns, that's when they want to brush shoulders with everyone, but after they attain the seats, for you to look for them, you will work for that meeting, to just to have a meet and sit down and have a meeting with them. It's crazy. So parents, stop guilt tripping children to do some things in their favor. Just talk to them. If it's young children, uh, I know sometimes manipulation works for them to streamline them to be better people in the industry, in the world. But adult people, parents should put a step back and not interfere as much. Let the people learn on their, that will build character and make them reason on their own. Yeah. So that's all I had today. For all those who joined, welcome. And for the ones who commented, I welcome that. And until next Tuesday for the next topic. That's all I had today. Today came in late. Had a lot to do, but well, still made it. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye.